Namaste. I'm very happy to be here this morning sharing with you some ideas, some thoughts, which I think will be helpful for all of us. All of us know that we are now living in a knowledge society, right? Knowledge society. Once upon a time, we were living in agricultural society, then came industrial society, but now it is knowledge society. Knowledge is the main drive for the economy. Knowledge society is a complex society. A complex in the sense that there are too many variables and all are connected, interconnected. When a system is complex, the problem is one variable can disrupt the entire system. That is a premise of physics, complex sets, and which we are seeing now, that one single tweet can create spring revolution, Arab Spring, such kind of thing. And things are getting scarier with the coming of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Yuval Noah Harari, if you have heard about him, one of the greatest thinkers of present time, who wrote a great book worth reading, Sapiens, the brief history of human civilization. So there he predicted in as early as 2017 that AI has the potential to wipe out millions of jobs overnight. And it is very much real now, very much real. And this is the first time that the white-collar jobs are in threat. Hundreds and thousands of software programmers may lose their coding job overnight. So that is, and what is the solution? Solution, according to Yuval Noah Harari, as well as all the leaders of tech industry, is this: under these circumstances, only one skill can help us to survive. That is, keep on learning. Keep on learning. If we lose the capacity to learn new skills or improve on our available skill, then it might very much happen that one fine morning, there's nothing I can do about it. That is the lesson I think we can take from Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna. He was a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner. I joined the order in a center, in an ashrama, which is close to Belur Math. In that connection, I had the opportunity of going to Belur Math very often. And at that time, our president was Swami Ranganathan. You might have heard about him, a world-renowned orator. And also he had this insatiable desire to learn and to know, to explore. So one day I went to offer him my pranams. It was 2002. And he was 98 at that time. So I went to his quarters and the secretary told Maharaj, that is President Swami Ranganathan, is resting in his room, but go and offer your pranams. So I entered his room. I saw a 98-year-old, and also he had some problems at that time, GI-related problems. He was having intestinal hemorrhage, blood. So he became weak. So he was lying down. What I saw, he was lying down on his bed with a thick book, very thick book. So he was resting the book on his chest and reading it intently. I wanted to draw his attention. I said, Maharaj, Maharaj, he was lost into that book. What was the title of that book? What went wrong with the Muslims of India? That was the title of the book. So I was thinking, a 98-year-old president of the order who has spent all his life preaching Vedanta and Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita throughout the world, at the age of 98, when he cannot sit, but so much of interest in learning, and he's reading a book apparently has no connection with spiritual life. So I was curious about the fact, and I came back to our ashrama and asked the Swami who was in charge, who was like a friend to us, why is it so? Then he said, it does not matter what is the book. Any book around him, he will pick it up and start reading. He was such a learner. He wanted to learn. There was no end of learning for him. At the age of 95, he wanted to learn Tamil language. He was from South India. He knew Kerala, Malayalam. He knew Kannada, but he did not know Tamil. So at the age of 95, he thought, I should learn Tamil. Okay. No practical utility as such, but learning for learning's sake. Then the Swami was telling me that is Swami Ranganathanan, that lifelong learner. And then the Swami told me, go to the book, most authentic biography of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali, Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga, written by Swami Ishadhyanananda-ji, which is translated into English now, Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, and read that section on Sri Ramakrishna's human side. So I read and reread. There Swami Ishadhyanananda-ji writes that when a divine person like Sri Ramakrishna comes to us, they not only teach us how to live the spiritual life, but they also teach us through their own life how to live our day-to-day life gracefully, how to navigate our day-to-day life, so-called secular life. Even there we can learn many things from them, how to live our day-to-day life, so-called secular life, gracefully, navigate them very smartly. You know that the first thing Sri Ramakrishna taught Swami Sarada Devi, Holy Mother, is how to deal with different types of people, how to adjust oneself to according to the situation, according to the time, according to the people. Before he even started teaching Holy Mother about spiritual life, he gave instructions on how to live a practical life. So I read that section where the doctor, Mahendralal Sarkar, he was an atheist, a great scientist. He was the one who was one of the founding members of Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, which does fundamental research on physics, chemistry, and now it's a very reputed institution. That doctor was consulted to treat Sri Ramakrishna. And as an atheist, he started coming to Sri Ramakrishna. But gradually he fell in love with Sri Ramakrishna. He loved to have conversation with Sri Ramakrishna. Not only he would come to treat, but we'll spend hours and hours together in talking to Sri Ramakrishna. So one day, it happened in Shyampukur. Mahendralal Sarkar was telling that I don't like those people who say, I know everything. There is nothing more to learn. Even those who say that I have understood everything about God. And my understanding about God is final. There is nothing more to learn. I don't like that kind of people. My attitude is that I know very little. There are so many things to learn in this world. I know only a little. Sri Ramakrishna was very happy to hear that. Sri Ramakrishna said, that is what I tell all the people. Shokhi, jabat bachi, tabot shikhi. Friend, as long as I live, so long do I learn. That is what we see throughout the life of Sri Ramakrishna, a lifelong learner. This lifelong learning is a mindset, and also it can be cultivated. And in today's world, it's a really disruptive world. Indeed, disruptive world. So many things can happen and things are changing fast. In this time, this teaching of lifelong learning has great significance. Just 2 weeks ago, I was reading a psychologist whom I follow, Paul Gary Kaufman. He's a young of my age. He's a prolific social psychologist, works in New York University. So I was reading one of his recent publications that if you have heard about the field of positive psychology started by Martin Seligman. So Martin Seligman's one of the fundamental theories is instead of focusing on the shortcomings, rather focus on your virtues. Each of us has some virtues. So identify your virtues. He call it your signature strengths. Signature strengths. Identify your signature strengths and focus on them. In that way, you will have authentic happiness. Authentic happiness. Forget about the shortcomings. Think about your strength and live according to your strength. So what he did, he enlisted 24 virtues human beings have and categorized them under 6 broad categories. I am not going into them. Okay. You can find it out in his website, and you can also find out what is your signature strengths in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. He has 120 questions. If you take time to answer the questions, at the end, you will get a good sense of what is your signature strength. Okay. All of us cannot have all the virtues at a time. So rather identify your core virtues and try to strengthen them. Try to live your life according to them. So that is not the point. Point is, this Kaufman, he wanted to find out among all these virtues, which is the best predictor of happiness. Each of the virtues will make us happy. But is there a single virtue which is the best predictor of happiness? He did meta-analysis of 1,000 people of different country, different race, gender, all cultures. And he found out 2 virtues stand out. One is the virtue of gratefulness, being grateful for whatever we have. The second virtue is openness to learning. Those who are open to learn, they become happiest. And guess what? Just 2 days ago, when I was waiting in Vancouver for my next flight to Calgary, I was reading, I subscribe to New York Times. So there is a newsletter called Well, How to Live Well. So I follow it. This time, the subject was the unlikely experts on happiness. Unlikely experts on happiness. And I was interested, I was reading, I had time, sitting on the lounge, that psychologists believe now that to learn how to be happy, we have to look at the toddlers. Toddlers who are between 1 to 5 years old. 5-year old. They can teach us many things how to be happy. One is that they don't compromise with their sleep. No matter, they may disturb others' sleep, but they will fulfill their sleep. Okay. Secondly, they laugh a lot. Laugh a lot. Okay. Anything they can make laugh of. Thirdly, self-talk. They do when they are alone, they do self-talk. Such as, no, you can do it. Why you can't do it? And psychologists are now learning that there's a great value in self-talk. We don't do self-talk that results into chatter. The ongoing internal monologue. Better to have self-talk, healthy self-talk. And most interestingly, curiosity. Children have enormous curiosity. On an average, a toddler asks 107 questions each hour. 107 questions each hour, toddler asks. And that we used to do, all of us. So we were infinitely curious. And they now find that this curiosity is as strong a drive in a child like food or sleep or even thirst. It is a drive for them. Okay. And that's keep them so spontaneous, so alive. We all were children at some time. We were curious. Then how we stopped being curious? How we stopped being curious? This curiosity is, by the way, is the best way to be lifelong learner. It is not a theory. It's a proven thing. Proven thing. I read a article in Harvard Business Review that what are the characteristics of lifelong learners? Those who are lifelong learners, naturally lifelong learners, what are the things to learn from them? So two things stand out. One is their aspiration or motivation. Second is curiosity. Another great social scientist, Thomas Friedman, those who read New York Times know, he's a regular contributor to New York Times. He wrote a great book, The World is Flat, The History of 21st Century. It is in this book he wants to show that how globalization and technology made the world a level playing field. Okay. Anyway, that the interesting part is he got the inspiration for the book from his visit to Bangalore. In Bangalore, he found that the same kind of energy and intellectual environment that he finds in Ivy League colleges like Harvard or Princeton. Then he started finding out why is it so. And his basic thesis is this, that technology and globalization has making the world more and more a level playing field. Anyway, one of the findings of his is this, that when it comes to learning or knowledge or education, what matters more than intelligence is curiosity. If someone is curious, then no matter what is their IQ, no matter what college they are going, they will learn if they are curious. So that is the takeaway from the book. Curiosity, if someone has, they can be a lifelong learner. And children are the source of, our role model for curiosity. We had curiosity, but over time, what happened? We started feeling embarrassed in asking questions, and probably a few bad experiences with being curious. And we then started asking questions. We started to stop asking questions. But we can be child again. We can be curious again. We can cultivate the virtue of curiosity again. How? How can we do that? How can we do that? And look at Sri Ramakrishna. He looks like childlike, right? Because of this infinite curiosity in things. So how can we become curious, right? So far what I have told you is this, that in today's world, as well as in today's world, to thrive, to survive, we need to be lifelong learner. And also, to be happy, we need to be a lifelong learner. And to be a lifelong learner, we need to have childlike curiosity. Okay. Sri Ramakrishna had that kind of curiosity. Now the question is, how can we be curious? How can we cultivate curiosity? A great deal of research has been taken place in the field of curiosity. One social scientist, a psychologist, Daniel Barley, who was a British psychologist but ended up in being Toronto. He did a lot of study on curiosity. So he found out that there are two types of curiosity, usually. One is perceptual curiosity. We see something and it ignites our curiosity. For example, when I first came to this country and one day I was walking in San Francisco from Old Temple to New Temple. We have two temples in San Francisco. I was walking and I saw a driverless car in 2018. I was curious. What's this? A driverless car. I went back and searched driverless car, and then I came to know all about Google's project of Waymo. Lot of driverless cars you can see now in San Francisco. That was their pilot projects they were doing. So this is perceptual curiosity. There's something I have not seen, suddenly I have seen in WhatsApp, or I was going through, suddenly new types of car pass by me, I get curious. It is perceptual curiosity. Perceptual curiosity usually does not lead us to much deeper type of knowledge. It is superficial usually, okay? And perceptual curiosity fades away as we age. As we become older, things we have seen, we have seen enough. We are not so much. Any new thing does not excite us that much, okay? Perceptual curiosity. But there is another curiosity which takes us to real thirst for knowledge. It is called epistemic curiosity. Epistemic, the term for knowledge. That is our thirst for some information, some ideas, concepts to understand something better. That usually takes us to explore, to learn more and more. So he left it at that. Two types of curiosity, epistemic curiosity and perceptual curiosity. But later on, another psychologist from Florida took up this subject again, very recently. He found out that even within epistemic curiosity, there are two types of epistemic curiosity. Okay, two types of epistemic curiosity. One is, suppose you are watching a web series and they end up one part at such a position, you feel, let me go to the next part. That is cliffhanger. That is, it is called information gap. I know something, but there is something I feel that I need to know that. Okay, there is the information gap which will make my knowledge more complete. Information gap. They call it D type. D means deficiency. There is a deficit of knowledge, and I feel like I need to learn more. Or suppose I know about Vedanta, but suddenly I come across a quote which is not really matching up with Vedanta, my knowledge of Vedanta. Or whatever I have read so far about Sri Ramakrishna, suddenly I read in Gospel one quotation of Master, which earlier I just glossed over. Now I am thinking deeply. It does not fit into my understanding of Vedanta or spirituality. Why Sri Ramakrishna is asking such or saying such a thing? I need to learn more. It is more like a itch that needs to be scratched. D type of curiosity. Okay, D type of curiosity is what takes our knowledge more and more complete, more and more complete. How we can do that? Asking question like why? Why? All of us have known that when we are in college or universities, our professor used to tell us that on any particular subject, don't be satisfied with reading only one book. Suppose you are reading quantum mechanics, read same subject written by many authors, then your knowledge will be more because you are seeing it from different angles. There are some questions which are kind of there, but we are also ignoring that question. What is happening? Our knowledge is not becoming very strong, or our foundation is not strong enough. Okay, so if we ask questions like why, then this kind of D type of curiosity we can generate in ourselves. Then the more we'll feel that there is more a gap, information gap, idea gap. I need to fill that type of gap. And when we fill that kind of gap with new information, new ideas, we feel, aha, now I understand it. Aha, I did not look at it from that angle. Sri Ramakrishna, look at it. That he have realized God from one practice, through worshipping Mother Kali and through yearning. Okay, but he also wanted to know how the people of other faiths worship God. Oh Mother, show me how the Muslims worship Allah, how the Christians worship Jesus. Show me. There was no need as such, but a curiosity, a curiosity applied in the field of spirituality. That's why we see so much of broadness, so much of simplicity. Simplicity when it comes, when I have understood a subject so well that I can explain it in very simple terms, with metaphors, without using any scholarly terminologies or any technical words, because I have understood it from different parts. That is what we see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. He's so broad, his understanding is so clear, because he had that kind of knowledge gap, if we are allowed to say that knowledge gap about how people of different faiths worship God. Okay, he knew one, he had knowledge about God, but he wanted to know how people from other faith traditions, how they approach God. That is the approach, the path. He was interested in that. So that takes a deeper understanding of the subject. So D type of curiosity. So what we can learn about this, that no matter how much we know, about any subject, we should not think that's the whole. We should always keep a possibility that there may be something more to learn about it. That gives us epistemic humility. Epistemic humility. And it's a great virtue, and proven by recent studies in psychology, that if we have some degree of epistemic humility, yes, I'm confident about the subject I know, but I don't think this is the final about the subject. There can be always new things I have to learn about it. These open possibilities. Otherwise, my cup is full. My cup is full, there is no knowledge to get. No knowledge to get. But if we think, yes, my cup is not empty, my cup is full, but there is some space in my cup. It's not totally full. So we can always grow, always learn from others. And by that way, actually, we enrich ourselves. And also it's a source of joy and happiness in us. D type of curiosity. Another type of curiosity is intellectual curiosity. Interest. I type of curiosity. That is, I don't have to. I am not forced to. I don't feel the need to, but out of the sheer joy of learning something new. I just come up, I read something new, totally a new field. Okay. And that expression was, aha, now I understand it better. And expression here is, wow, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing. But in I type of curiosity, the drive is not as strong as D type, because D type is a deficit. It becomes kind of a need. I need to know. Until I know, I don't feel I am complete. I need to see the next part of the web series. I need to read one page more in this thriller series to understand it. And I am getting stuck with a particular problem on physics. So I need to update my knowledge about, say, quantum mechanics or thermodynamics to solve this problem. So it is strong. In I type, it is not so strong a drive, but it is a pleasure of intellectual pleasure of knowing. It is not immediately needed to be fulfilled, but I get joy when I learn new things. Sri Ramakrishna had no need to know how electricity, how thunder works, how microscope works, how photography takes place, how the people in circus, how do they do their performance, what a museum looks like. He has no need as such, but he was curious too. Take me to a museum. He goes to a museum, he sees everything, fossils, with curious mind, with powerful observation, and then he comes back with the lesson that, look, the skeleton with remaining with stones for ages have become stone-like. Similarly, the kind of company you will keep, you will become like them. The story of, power of influence, what they call. So if you keep people, the company who are interested in spirituality, you too will get interested in spirituality. The point was this I type of knowledge. Let me go to a museum, okay? Or show me how photography works. They show how photography works at that time. On a glass plate, they used to spread zinc oxide, then take a photo. And if the zinc oxide is not there, the impression will not be clear. So he sees it, observes it, and takes back the lesson that he tells Keshav Chandra Sen that, Keshav, do you know why your lecture does not carry any impression? Because the people you are giving talks to, their mind is not coated with the right kind of coating. They don't have the yearning for God. They don't have that type of frequency to understand or interested in spiritual topics. That's why your talks do not make any impression. Just like as without zinc oxide coating, there will not be any photography. So that I type of curiosity, okay, and he does not have to. And I type of curiosity, another thing is, I accidentally comes upon them. I was searching something else. I came up on this and I had no plan to read this kind of thing. I happened to come across and I read and I say, wow, that's interesting. And that happens in Sri Ramakrishna's life, that after having realization of God in Mother Kali, through Mother Kali, one Brahmani, a great lady who was specialist in Tantra, she shows up and she proposes, would you like to learn Tantra? Sri Ramakrishna open-minded. Anyone probably would have said, no. I know, I have realized God. I don't have to know any other thing. Sri Ramakrishna says, it's a new opportunity. He says, why not? If you are interested, I am interested. It's not a each in Sri Ramakrishna. Let me learn Tantra. Let me learn Tantra. Without that, I am not satisfied. This kind of drive was present in learning how to approach God through Christianity, through Islam. But in terms of this Tantra, it just happened. And he said, why not? Why not? It's an I type of. Let me see, let me explore. And he took up that path and had wonderful results, which enriched his knowledge about spirituality. I type of knowledge. So how do we cultivate I type of knowledge? I type of curiosity. I type of curiosity is following some trusted sources of ideas. For example, I personally follow, but you can follow any type. So I am subscribed to Atlantic, a great journal. Every day they comes up with new essays. I don't read all of them. I go through what are the new essays today. The beauty of Atlantic is they go in depth. That is, each essay is 20, 30 minutes read, 12 minutes, 15 minutes read. But a new thing, something, for example, in one of the essays a few months ago, I came up that a little dose of awe in everyday life can wander. Awe, science of awe. I started reading. I purchased books on awe, did a lot of study in awe, and it's a wonderful study about awe. And surprisingly, the field of study in awe is UC Berkeley, which is very near to our place. So next week, I went to UC Berkeley to meet the scientist who is leading all over the world the field of awe. So I am not entering into it. Awe is nothing less than spiritual. Awe, the phenomenon called awe is a spiritual thing. So why I am telling is, I would not have known anything about the field of awe had I not subscribing to Atlantic. Or TED Talks, TED Talks. Sometimes I come up with something, and when we started watching it, a new horizon opens before us. That's interesting. So things like that, whatever you like, I subscribe to Scientific American, Time Magazine, Atlantic, TED Talks, things like that. I am not bragging, but I am always taking some course. Coursera, there is a great, open course system. Always, always. I don't need to, but every time, 1 month course and learn on your own. So I am most of the time I am taking one course or another, and sometimes unrelated field, but from that field I learn something that helps me into spirituality. So if I had not explored, thinking, oh, it is not related to spirituality at all, I would not have better understanding of my own path. Okay, so opening ourselves to sources, trusted sources of great ideas is a great way of encouraging the I type of curiosity in us. So both this curiosity, I curiosity, D curiosity. One is to make our knowledge fuller, another is exploring new subjects. They go hand in hand. They are not opposed to each other, but all at the same time, they can be independent. They can be independent. And if we can keep on doing this, the advantage here, most of us are now above 40, above 50. As our body, after a certain age, starts becoming weak, to keep it active, we need to work out. Same way, they say curiosity is the greatest mental gym we can have. Okay, to keep ourselves lively, childlike, like Sri Ramakrishna. Moreover, I would say that this generation gap that we are seeing now, we are unable to understand the teens, the kids now, this generation. This will keep increasing, this gap, until we keep on learning. I have seen many great Swamis. One great thing, common thing I have seen in them is perpetual curiosity. Perpetual curiosity to learn, to know, even unrelated things, even science, even chemistry, physics, because to them, every knowledge was sacred. And if we are sensitive enough, from every field of knowledge, we can gain wisdom, even spiritual knowledge. I gave the example of Swami Ranganathananda, but other Swamis like Swami Prabhananda, who was a general secretary, later on became vice president. I had the opportunity to work with him for 5 years. Great curiosity. Swami Ishadhyanananda, another general secretary. I saw in all of them this curiosity, this openness to learning that kept their mind fresh, childlike. And they were not boring. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that I don't like monotonous people, boring people who thinks they have learned everything. I cannot tolerate those type of people. So if we can cultivate our curiosity, we will be a lifelong learner. We will remain childlike fresh. We'll keep our spontaneity, mental vigor, and also joy and happiness. Such a mind, a lively mind, a happy mind, a curious mind is also a mind which is conducive for our spiritual practice. And my personal belief, I cannot prove it, every time we are trying to be a lifelong learner, Sri Ramakrishna is watching us, my belief, and he did not know much of English, a few words. One was yeah, and another was thank you. So I believe if we keep growing, if we keep learning, Sri Ramakrishna will be very happy with us and he will say, thank you. With this note, I end my talk. If you have any question or if you would like to add anything to my talk, you are welcome to do that. Okay, please go ahead.
So it's pretty interesting.
Thank you.
I'm pretty curious too. So that's why it's very confirming. But one place really confused me, my own life of curiosity. That was related to a little bit of distraction. Number one. So there's definitely a finer you're saying perceptual versus
true.
Perceptual is I think distracting.
Yes.
The other one I think like in Gita it says Bhu Shaka Yanantasya.
Yes.
Echo is more important than Bhu Shaka distracts you. So how will you reconcile that is my question.
I'm glad you asked this question. I thought of dealing with this objection beforehand, but I forgot since I don't carry papers. So there, Bahushaka does not mean that not having curiosity in anything. Bahushaka means not having a particular path. You are trying Karma Yoga for a few days and then totally relinquish it. Then you are trying something new and totally relinquish it. That is called Bahushaka. And Vyavasayik Mega Buddhi is that I know I have chosen a path. I will be walking on this path, okay, but I will take help from other paths. What Bhagavad Gita tells is what Sri Ramakrishna tells. You start digging here, you start exploring here, and then, oh, it's not my thing. Then I will start practicing some other path.
That will be perceptual.
That is, perceptual, little interest, something into that, not, but altogether living out my own path. Okay. I was expecting the question, Sri Ramakrishna says, to know the one is knowledge, to know many is ignorance. So, Swami, you are asking me to be curious about anything. But we have to understand what Sri Ramakrishna means by many. Many means that as long as I am seeing this is different from this, that is different from this, that is seeing many. But when I see the same spiritual reality is appearing as many, that is knowledge. Okay. So these are not two contradictory things. First of all, we are not in a state now to see God even in one thing. Forget about in many things. Okay. Secondly, even when there is many things I am pursuing or pursued, if I can see that it is the expression of the same reality, there is no contradiction there. Okay. So
foundation is more important.
Foundation is extremely important. Yes.
And then those other things
will fall in place. Right. Totally. What you said about distraction, I understand nowadays, WhatsApp, some new information has come, and that is not actually enriching me in any way. That kind of news, that is not increasing my knowledge base or some new ideas I am not getting. I am getting some information and mostly negative information. Okay, what is happening where and all of this. Rather than that, if we keep on learning exciting things, good things about the world, or even I would say the meta story, not the stories, the story behind the stories. Okay, I am interested, for example, in not the politics or not the news, but overarching trend of the society. Why things are happening this way? What is the trend? For example, I recently learned just last week from Yuval Noah Harari's talk that none of the wars happened because of resource scarcity. All the wars happened because of some stories, some ideologies, some narratives. I believe in something, and that belief, that story makes me to have war with another. To give the example, the Palestine, Israel, real heart of the problem is a rock. It's a rock. Rock itself does not belong to anything. And the value we have given, This rock, we possess that rock. But there is no resource problem that I have to conquer the other country so that I can survive. It's all about stories. So all the wars in the world have been fought over narratives or stories. Okay. So that kind of things interest me, not the actual war.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to just extend to this
Yeah.
question and answer. Curiosity also gives you chanchalta, because curiosity, one of the side effects of curiosity is you wandered in the areas which are not really fruitful. It is like, digging into garbage can sort of thing. Many times it happens. So when that happens, is it not the quantity of time you spend, where how you strike a balance and how to differentiate between chanchalta and I and D type curiosity?
Yes, exactly. Same. That chanchalata is usually will be seen by perception. You come across something and it is not fitting, it is not helping in any way. D-type curiosity, you already know the subject, but you want to have a better understanding of the subject. It is not chanchalata. It will not. It will lead you to fulfillment. I-type of curiosity is a great, good ideas that will, we have to, figure it out that what idea I should pursue. For me, anything, any idea that helps me to understand human beings better, makes me understand the world better, that is interesting to me. Okay. Not that any type of information, any type of essays, I will not interest. Okay. Okay. For example, a phenomenon called Taylor Swift. I'm not interested in Taylor Swift's tour, but when I repeatedly seeing that they are calling Taylor Swift is a new type of spirituality, I got interested into that. Why they are calling Taylor Swift and not anybody. Princeton University professor of history is telling that Taylor Swift is the new spirituality of America. That is interesting to me. But Taylor Swift's Eras tour made billions of dollars. That's also I can pursue. That's the curiosity of $5 billion. But I am not going to gain anything from it. When Time magazine chose her the Women of the Year, okay, and that time also came the article in New York Times why Taylor Swift is a new spirituality, and I understanding why they are calling spirituality. That made me study Taylor Swift's phenomenon. Okay, so that did not make me chanchal. That my purpose was to understand why they are calling it a spiritual phenomenon. Okay, so that we have to understand ourselves. What kind of, just any kind of information, is it worth pursuing? Yeah, we need to have that kind of.
Swamiji, in other words, you're saying that the curiosity should revolve around our primary pursuit.
Yes.
Which is spirituality.
Yeah, exactly. For me, anything, remotely helps me to understand myself better and the world better. I am interested in that. Okay. But you can choose your own topic. Suppose you are maybe very interested in understanding the environment, and it gives you joy to understand environment. So anything related to environment may give you joy and also broaden your understanding of environment. It's a pleasure for you. For me, since I am in spiritual path, anything that helps me to understand my mind better, understand the world better, and understand spirituality better, I am interested in that. Okay, so there should be some filter through which we should. Yeah.
I have one more
Observation. Yes.
Came to my mind. That is with Sri Ramakrishna's life and episode of Totapu in his life. So, Bhagavan Ramakrishna has already attained the ultimate goal of the life through Puja, Vivekananda mentioned that. So, in spite of that, when this episode happened, that time he went through that episode and attended a Nirvikata Samadhi. So, how you describe that I or D type?
Yeah, it was I type because he was not seeking Totapuri. Totapuri happened to be there. Totapuri said, I see you as a very fit spiritual aspirant. Are you interested in learning non-dual meditation? Sri Ramakrishna was open. Yes, let me see that. Although it was challenging for him to give away image, duality, but he pursued that. So what my point is that we may not have that kind of curiosity for God. The things that we can learn from Sri Ramakrishna is this openness to learn. So for us, even to have one glimpse of Divine Mother or Jesus Christ is enough. We may not go into that type of state, but the thing we can learn is he never told that no, Totapuri, I have understood what is God, my mother. I don't want to learn anything. But he was open, this is what we can take from. This is what we can take from. There is a saying, curiosity kill the cat. You have heard that? Yeah, curiosity. And one philosopher said, if curiosity killed the cat had a noble death. Okay, that's it.